Here I am, Leon C., aka Morpheus. And you are here in my Academy of Wowmen. Now, for today's lesson and service, I'm just going to talk to you for a few minutes about several important subjects that's going to intermingle into the subject of today. As you know, I appreciate nature. And I adore animals. I love them. Care about them. Care about all things. And if it was up to me, the way that Earth is today, you would still have rough patches everywhere. There'd still be heavy forestries, lands and greenery. You wouldn't see the world that you see today if it was up to me. My world will be a whole lot more natural. Yes, I said it. A whole lot more natural. You'll see more mountain ridges everywhere, more landscapes that haven't been touched by poisonous human hands. And so recycling will be completely irrelevant because nature had and has its own system of recycling until humans came along. Nature had its own ecosystem. It had its own function that nature knew how to filter out the carbons and the toxins and every other type of debris and dysfunction that it had upon its surface. I look at Earth as a living being, as a living person, or an alive entity, species, that just like the average geek sort of human person, but however, in this case, that average geek human person have created in trying to, over the years, and still doing it, rewrapping, repackaging, and distorting Earth's surface and Earth's true nature. If you want more on this, it's in my book called 2020 America Rise or Fall Hard by Leon C. So give that a try. Take a look at it. However, I'm going to get off that subject and leave it be and get on to something else about nature. I really don't like bugs all that much, and a lot of people do not. There are some irritating ones, and there are ones who are kind of dangerous. You have your bees, you got your hornets, you got your wasps, right? You got poisonous snakes, you got spiders and bugs, and the list goes on that you just don't want to deal with. Mosquitoes. Those aren't things that I relatively really care about, so to speak. But I will indeed, if they were to, that's like if any rabid dog, even though I appreciate nature, if a rabid dog tried to attack me or my companions, then sorry, it'd have to be put down. No different than a rattlesnake or a snake trying to slither to bite one of our legs. Then I have to, dice it up. If there's a rabid person, who's coming after us or me specifically, to threaten my life or whatever that I have built up, then, no different than the wasp, the bee, or the fly, I have to roll up that newspaper and swat it down. That doesn't mean just because nature is to be appreciated and cared for, that doesn't mean that sometimes you can't defend yourself against it or make changes. But however, again, I'm not going to get into that because a lot of the reasons now in the common earth that we have today in our society, cities, towns, back alleys, it's a mock-up of the average person's idea of paradise. You could say human's paradise, whereas the reverse is humans are the bugs and the cancer, and Earth is the defending person, which cannot truly defend itself, but it has its ways by trying to shake the average human off and create floods. And you got your tornadoes, and you have forest fires and several other things that Earth is trying to do to get rid of that itch called the human. because we aren't appreciating Earth like we were supposed to. And so it's going to get us back one way or the other. Thank God. Anyhow, there is one specific bug. There's one specific bug that is, I guess I'm just going to call it a bug for now, or a flying insect. It's called the hornet. The hornet is a very unique type of flying insect. And I've grown to actually study them. Not something that I just went out and decided to do just because I have nothing else to do. You know, I got lots to do in my life and my day. You know, I'm functioning. I'm a businessman. I'm moving from place to place. Got clients, whatever. List goes on. Blah, blah. Right. But I have a couple of awnings on my house. And let's see how I'm going to start it off. There was two situations with them. I would say the first beginning stage was when I realized that there was a hornet's nest underneath one of my awnings. Okay. But I didn't see it all that soon until I walked up into one of my doors and I noticed there were some hornets flying around, at least one or two of them. And I didn't swat at them. That's one thing you don't want to do to a bee or a hornet. Okay, or a dragonfly. Don't swing at them. Otherwise, they will take you as a threat and they will come at you. But I noticed it was flying around my door, and being a smart guy that I am, I stopped right there, at least, well, about 6 feet away from the door, looking at this thing, and decided to walk backwards, right? Real slowly, so it didn't see me. And a good thing it wasn't paying too much attention. Right. And it went back up to this awning spot. Then I went back over there thinking that it left, and it came back down. This time it realized that I was there. I was trying to hurry up and run to my door and get my utilities, my spray, my hornet spray and everything to attack them. But the unique thing about it is I have several chairs that's outside my awning as well that I use whenever I set up my studio outside. And this time the hornet was sitting there on the edge of the chair. Now, you may think it's funny. You may think that this isn't true, but it's true that hornets are smart. You know, these bugs are smarter than humans are, so to speak. But it seems like they are. I would say that they are. But it perched right there on the chair, waiting for me to approach. And I can see this hornet with its wings. Its wings were splayed open, but of course it wasn't flapping. It was waiting for me, to the point where I didn't even have to get at least 6 feet or 5 feet before it jumped off the chair and tried to fly towards me. You know, here I am, this big guy, and, you know, red pill alpha and all that great stuff, you know, trying to run away from this hornet. Okay, I've been stung by one several times. Well, I've been stung several times before. Once you get stung once, you don't want to get stung twice. It's different when you get into a brawl or a fight. You know, it's just an uncomfortable prick that I don't actually have the galls or the interest of feeling, especially if I can't fight back. You know, you just swing in the air trying to swing at this flying thing that's faster than you. Okay. Then you're going to have to come up with with methods when you got the spray and the swatter. You know the list. But the good thing was it didn't attack me at the time. I was able to just get away because I wasn't really running that fast anyway. I was already at a distance, so I just pedaled away enough that someone, if they were looking and concentrating, they would know that something's wrong over there. But I wasn't splaying my hands and my arms as if it was actually attacking me. But to make a long story short, I was able to finagle my way in the house. The hornet flew away, and I stopped, and I was able to see that the reason why is because it was protecting its nest. Nest wasn't too far away from the door. So I'm like, oh, okay, I see. So it thought that I was trying to attack its nest. Okay, I understand. But that didn't stop me from going inside and getting my sprays and spraying the nest down and stepping on it and all that, making sure that it wouldn't come back. Fine, right? I thought it was over. But the unique thing about the Hornet is they did something else that made me kind of respect them a little bit more. And, the respect of nature is a unique thing. Nature have an ability to adjust its own self and its own function where it don't need a human's hands to distort it. It don't need us to pretend as if we need to be a zookeeper towards everything. We need to create devices and technology and the dumb stuff that we do because we are the cancer and the insignificant species towards nature. Nature is already the smart one. We're the stupid species. Okay, if you don't have to put your hands on it, don't touch it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. But we love, messing up stuff, in our science labs because we can. And I'm starting to see more and more, I'm starting to see the common person differently to what I used to. The stories of the history lessons and social studies and things that I've learned in school and in college, right? The conversation of the social construct, the anatomy of the human person and how and where they've come from, the ancestors. I'm starting to see things differently because these aren't the same. These aren't the same people that used to be in 1950. The people that we have now in our world today, these two-legged bipedal species called a so-called human, cannot be that same genetically engineered byproduct of something that it used to be in 1950, 1940. These people here are different. People around you now, they are like, you take their brain out of them. You take what's worthwhile, like virtue, value, morality, and everything inside them now is just computer clicking and wind up clock vision. OK, and device, and they're addicted to the internet. They're addicted to social media and what other people say and disconnected from instincts in their surroundings. That's the new species today. And that's also in my book. OK, I'm not going to spill too much of my beans, but check that book out and you'll get more about what I'm saying. And the reason why I say this is, of course, I don't have to back myself up because it's self-explanatory. Some of you experience that yourself. Just walk outside, look at all the construction work being done. Look at all the warehouses that are placed on large on acres. And the acres been minding his own business for years. Plant life, trees, greenery. And here come this organization or corporation. Let me scoop this ground up here and put up some concrete and make this out to be a plant. And there you go. Global warming. No, I'm joking. Anyhow. So what the Hornet did was, I think it was like a season later, it was a year later. Took a little bit of time. I didn't see the hornet's nest anywhere. And I thought my task of being a Terminator was done. But this morning, as I walked through the same place, try to walk back into my door over there with the awning, I noticed that they came back. But what the hornets did this time is something that our average species today don't comprehend. This is why I'm able to this is why I say what I say. And this is how I'm able to make comparisons, especially animals and just plant life is they're intelligent. We need dumb phones to be intelligent because we don't pay attention to our surroundings. But anyway, they actually made a nest, but this time they placed it so high up. The hornet, they were smart this time. They didn't allow themselves to be attacked twice. They placed it higher up out of reach, where not only I could if I wanted to, but not only can I reach it easily by spraying it, but also it's out of the way where they don't feel like I will be at threat with them and their nest. No matter how many kids are out there playing, no matter how many times I go in and out that door, whether it's summertime, hot heat, it's so far away or it's disconcerting, where it's not even an issue. It's not even a problem. And it's to the point where the nest is covered underneath one of my metal beams that are up there. So it would never be, or it will not ever be. And you say, well, that's not, yes, it is true. It's true. Because oftentimes animals, being smarter than humans, animals, they have a tendency of knowing where the threat is. And usually they're not going to attack you, not attacking them. And the list goes on. Of course, there are some who may get stung anyway, depending on the situation it may be. But the point is, they used a wise strategy and tactic. They thought about the situation, and apparently the way that this nest is set, if I was a hornet and I'll think the way that I think, I probably would have set it up there as well, where it's out of my reach. It's out of reach of being attacked again. And it's not in the way of anybody. So it's living in its own habitat in peace. And it's balanced. It's away from me. I'm away from them. So therefore, there's no threat whatsoever. So they're out of the zone. So in otherwise, they have advanced. They have evolved in their thinking, that they are a thinking species, bug or not. They're thinkers. They use nature. They use their surroundings, just the same as the birds. Birds are so unique as well. They'll do the same thing. They sit their nest up somewhere, and it'll sit there for a long time. And if a nest ever falls out of the tree, pick up a nest and look at how it was made. Look at how it was made. Just touch the nest, and what you will find is they'll find twigs, they will find hay from somewhere. They'll find the hardest, what do you call that? Little branches and sticks. And they will go get some clay from somewhere. They will make clay. They will go get some water. They'll get mud. Sometimes when you see birds just perching somewhere, sometimes you don't even notice that they're doing this. And when you look at this nest, it's solid. It's hard. I'm impressed. I mean, the nest that fell out of one of my trees one day, I kept it. And one day I'm going to show you. I think I'm going to have to do that one day, show you a picture of it. Because I saved the picture because it was so unique. It was hard, as if you can actually put a Coca-Cola bottle if you wanted to. You can actually put a drinking cup in this nest and it will be all right. It's almost as if a person did it by their bare hands. Like you molded it with your bare hands out of hay sticks and clay. But these birds was able to do that with clay and mud. Well, I guess they made a clay-like fixture out of it. But of course, it's made out of mud and water. And they patted it together. They patted it together where it wasn't even seeping. There's no seeping. And it sat there. When I grabbed it, I put it on my shelf and let it sit there for a couple of weeks. And marveled at it because I appreciate how smart nature is. And to go further with that is the evolution of their mind. Look at the way that they are. Look at how they don't have arms like we do. They don't have legs like we do. Listen, they don't have bulldozers. They don't have, cat machines, right? These birds aren't walking. They're not driving around with these Caterpillar four-wheelers and backhoes and drill, hammers, nails. They don't have anything like that. Not like the human species. No, absolutely. They don't have dumb phones like us, tablets and computers because we can't think with our mind. They don't have nothing like that. But yet they're able to put this unique little thing together by nature. Listen, with only their beak and their wings. They don't have long arms, but they use their beak and their wings to put this thing together. And of course, maybe their tail, they probably turn around and flop it together. But what do we do? What do we do with our intelligence? What do we do as a species? But besides get worse. Think about the hornet, instead of bringing the nest down further and tell me, I wish you would destroy this one, then I'm gonna send like 5 or 6 of them after you and stick you at one time. No, they decided to make a balance, to make a compromise and put it somewhere else that was a lot better, not worse. They thought about it. And when you look at where it's situated, they thought about it. They really took the time to think about it as they built a nest up there of their civilization and their kind. Same as birds. They think about it. And when you look at the nest, they think about it. Solid. Look like a cereal bowl, something like that. I mean, I wouldn't suggest putting cereal in it, but I'm pretty sure you put a little water in it, it'd take time for the water to seep out. They clear up all the holes because to them, it's important to them. It's their home. It's their livelihood. especially during the winter, during tough times, hail season, whatever it is. They want it to be solid. So they use their brain and their mind. They use their instincts. They're not in school. They're not in some IUPUI, Wesleyan University. You know, they're not in places like that. They're not at Harvard University. They are using their instincts from nature itself. But here we are, supposed to be the most superior dumb species on the face of the planet. We can't even get our families together. We can't even prevent from broken home syndrome. We can't even deal with each other on a day-to-day basis with what do you call that? Compassion. We have no inspiration for life anymore. And we dumb down species, right? Because we want to be. Not because it's for most times, because sometimes it's because we want to be, because we don't pay attention to the values of ourselves, of our country, and who we are. Even animals who aren't in the human circulation got better good sense and instincts than us supposedly superior beings. We drive in cars with all kind of technology and devices and sensors in it, right? You know, we walking around with all kind of amenities and chances and opportunities, but yet we don't have as much instincts as simple nature, because we are detached from that, because we are detached from what we used to be and detached from looking at things long term, because we are short-term species and happy to be short-term species. So we are insignificant when it comes to nature, but yet we want to talk about nature and we want to destroy nature and we want to be the cancer to nature itself. Because of our lack of thinking and concentration. You be like, oh, wow, this is deep morph. What are you talking about? We don't have any instincts. And I tell you this all the time in most of my audios and in my book as well. I go deep with it in my book. Instincts is what we have. Animals got instincts. We are far from, because we got everything else shoved up into our dark holes where light never shines, with nothing but stupidity for our excuses. The one thing that gets me on occasion when I'm sitting in my studio like I'm doing right now and I watch people drive past at a distance, and I watch everybody and they lifestyle, and especially when I go places, my eyes are always open, but I pretend as if I'm not seeing things. And not only do I see it for what it is, I go back into the past, back in 1950, 1940. And of course, when I do my history reports and I pay attention to everything, I see how things have planned out to be what it is today. And I notice on the often that the average person, not like we're not like the hornet who thinks ahead of time, who says, oh, wait a minute, this big person's going to come by again and destroy our nest. Let's put it somewhere else, which is not only efficient for myself, but it's efficient for them as well. Balance, right? Balance. Right. These people now today, we walk around sucking our thumbs, and we are comfortable with the condition that our hornet's nest or our nest is so low where it can be swatted at any time, meaning low hanging lifestyle, mean low frequency lifestyle, low expectations of society, low expectations of ourself. And the problem with this is that another thing we don't understand is that, don't you understand that a lot of businesses, organizations, and future planners plan a lot of things ahead of time, at least 10 years in advance. So everything that you deal with today, usually someone 10 years ago thought about it and you think it's new today. And how it's played out is played out on human psychology. It's played out on being gifted to you like this brand new, smell good plastic type item, or it's given to you with, oh, it's free. Go ahead and try this free trial. Or it's given to you like, oh, this is going to be good for you and your kids, and it's a time saver. Whatever the item might be, whatever the program might be, whatever the idea may be, and a lot of the common people with no instincts, you know what they'll say? Okay, I'll do it. Oh, no, I'll do it. Sure, I'll go ahead and give it a try anyway. And eventually, one after the other, to the thousands, to the millions, to the trillions of them, They end up doing the same thing. And guess what? The program begins. The downslide begins. The social engineering begins by what you tack onto. It doesn't have to be the world that it is today as far as how you function. Oh, this is the computer age. Everything is online. Everybody is doing it this way. Everybody's doing it. It never had to be that way. It's one moron who agreed with the next moron who started doing the same thing because every moron thinks the same. So therefore, now because every moron is doing it, now the moron have to be taken care of. Do you understand? Okay, so therefore it doesn't have to be done. Never look at the bird. And what I just tell you about this bird, the bird has been around for decades after decades after decades after years. And look, check this out. Still doing what they've been doing since day one. You know, there's stories about evolution. There's stories that there used to be dinosaurs years ago and they transformed to be this so-called genetic species to become this little bitty bird today. But it still created a nest without a smartphone or without a computer chip in their head. They still know how to flock together and take care of their own, and they still know how to compromise with other species and live in harmony. Okay, it's only the human being or the species themselves that don't know how to live in harmony because we destroy our own circles and our own nest. You know how we destroy our own nest? Because we accept the low expectations. We have no instincts and we don't provide ourselves with the means of opening up our mind to possibilities that are based on positive. All we want to do is do something positive based on computers and technology. That's all our positive. Oh, you know, I got this new program here. Here come a new app. Here go a new app on the new system, which is the problem. You just don't, you know, we simply do not get it. It's no different than the religious circle. Like when I'm sitting down in a debate with somebody who's religious or a conversation with a religious person, and I'm talking about science, evolution, and life, right? They always need to go back to the Bible and quote scriptures from their so-called word of God, their so-called indoctrinated program. And that's no different than when you're dealing with your everyday problems. And what happens is they create more medication. They create more pills and they come up with more computer technology and apps for you. Okay, so all they know how to do is to continue to beef up this system that have nothing to do with your physical evolution or your physical prowess and skills. Where you are further and further away from that bird who's able to put this together with only twigs, mud, and water. Where you need all these tools, backhoes and machinery and computers just to function with your simple life. So we've become so complex where we are stupid. You become so advanced where we are de-evolved and not really as advanced as we think we are. When you have to depend on an outside source to do what you can normally do, you are out of your mind. There are some times where when I wash clothes, I wash it with my bare hands on purpose. I got a huge machine downstairs. Two huge, nice machines, brand new, worth thousands of dollars. But yet I will purposely, on purpose, listen, take a hamper. I would take at least 30 minutes, 35 minutes, or 45, whatever long it takes, separate my clothes by hand, wash them by hand, stone wash them by hand, wring them up. Okay, then I might put them in the dryer or I might set them outside on the string to dry in nature and raw air. And then with some of my friends, if I entertain people, but why are you doing that? And you got a washer and dryer. And then you know what I asked them? I said, why are you using a washer and a dryer? Are you lazy? Oh, I just don't have time. Yeah, I don't either. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman. I got things to do. But you know what? I value nature and I value myself. Because if we have a habit of, well, you know, I can't sweep the floor. I'm going to go get this robotic machine that's going to sweep for me because I'm too lazy. My back hurts every time I have to pick up this wooden broom and sweep. It is too difficult for me to sweep the floor. So I'm going to make a computer, a robot to sweep for me. What a bash in our ancestors' face. If God ever existed, it will be a bash in God's face. How could you? I made arms and legs for you. I gave you air, breath. I gave you the ability to see things, to hear things. What are your senses for? What is your sixth senses for? You can see things, hear things, smell things, taste things. You got peripheral vision. You know, you got your pupils and you got like two sets of eyes up here, peripheral vision. Then you got your pupils. You can see around you and in front of you. But yeah, we're sitting in cars needing 5 different cameras just to look for us because we're scared to use our own senses. There's some people who don't even know how to use their car. They can't back up if they don't have a backup camera. When we've been using the reverse and the rear view mirror in a twist of our head for decades now. You know why? Because the new individual who exists today is not like the person back in 1940, 1950. Just like I said, this person is amalgamated and they are not supreme. They are not superior. I told you the girls that I date is no older than 26 years old. She's 24, 25, 23. Okay, that's my pool, right? So you'll be surprised. Some of the 22-year-old girls that I talk to every now and then, I hang out with, right? You know, when she's driving in her car and I see the car got all this junk in it, right? And I'm like, what are you doing with this? How this work and all that, right? Or there was a time where we was getting ready to, let's see, where was we going? We was going out of town, right? And I had to drive her car because I want to check her out, right? See what she was all about. And normally I'm nervous to do this because I'm the driver. You know, I'm the alpha dude and I'm not going to be a passenger in nobody's car because I don't know how you drive. You know, there's some people who not only they tailgate, they use their turn signal at the last minute. Okay. Some people, they drive too close to the curve while I'm sitting in the passenger nervous. You know, they so close to the curve where you think they're going to hit the curve, especially, driving with a woman, be honest. And when you drive with women, boy, you might as well just go ahead and hold on to both handles. And, you need one of those bucket seats and those race car driver straps. OK, because they drive like they're the police or something like that. All right. And they act like they got somewhere to be, nowhere to be. OK, it don't matter what the stop sign is, the stop light is, or who's in the way. They'll just swoop right in there. And you wonder why most of their cars have bumpers missing. The rear view mirror is dangling from the side of from their driver's side. Right. One wheel is bigger than the other one. They got a spare tire in the front. The hood is a little popped up. You can't even close right. The inside of it got clothes and shoes all. You wonder why. They'll be driving like a bat out of hell for no reason. Just impatient. Don't let them get emotional behind the wheel. You in trouble. Everybody on the road's in trouble. I've seen that before. When I used to drive a motorcycle, I had one of my friends. Yes, one of my girls was behind me. Yes, she too she was 23 years old. Right. And a motorcycle got 2 lanes compared to a car's 1 lane. So I was able to veer over to the left to get out of this busy traffic. It was congested. I think at that time it was the Indy 500 in Indianapolis. I went down there to check out the scene, right? Went down there to Indianapolis. And it's congested around that time of day. The Indianapolis 500 when it was in its thorough. So I think they sold the track or something like that, But I need to look into that since I'm all into the cars. But when I was down there, I was able to veer through. There was this angry walrus of a female in the driver's seat, right? And she had her husband's son there. OK, us red pill men know about that, husband's son, because he was, blue pill, big eyes, definitely not her husband, just this older woman, bitter. And because we swoop past, right? Not fast, just very cordial. I'm not a dangerous rider anyway. Nowhere near 35 miles per hour. It's like 31 cruising because it's congested traffic. I don't want to end up behind somebody's car because they want to pull out. Some dumb people do that, or they purposely open up their door because we're living in an age where they're a dumbed down species. Not anybody who knows how to turn their head, what's that, 90 degrees or simply over to the left just a little bit to look out that little circle called a rearview mirror. Do you know what that is? You know what that mirror is for? Some people don't even know that, but they drive an expensive piece of garbage anyhow. So when we drove past, she got upset. She eventually caught up to us and she started ranting, just mad and blah, blah. I mean, she was, why are you driving like that? And, it's dangerous. And, you shouldn't be driving. You're a Karen, right? A Karen female, right? But we wasn't illegal. We was actually legal. And my girlfriend at the time was correct. She said, oh, we're allowed to do this and we're on a motorcycle and we're OK and we're fine. Right. But instead of the lady listening to her, instead of her being calm, but she was emotional, right? Irate, out of her mind. OK, she was actually upset because she was stuck in rush hour traffic. She was a single mom, and her husband, boyfriend, of course, because he had peach fuzz on his chin. He wasn't a grown dude. In the driver's seat. Plus, she wasn't on a motorcycle, and she was overweight. So she was pissed off and upset, jealous at the 23-year-old girl that was behind me on my motorcycle, who was riding with me. So yeah, what she did, she started cussing and yelling, and we started riding off. And because my girlfriend in the back won the argument with just simple logic, she wasn't emotional. She wasn't even raging at her. She said, "Why are you tripping like that? Why are you tripping like that? We're right. We're doing what we're supposed to do. We're legal, and we didn't even drive past you dangerously. What you screaming at? What's your problem? You know, what's your problem? Why are you acting like that? Are you embarrassed? Are you jealous?" She didn't put her finger up or anything like that. So guess what this Roberts did? Okay, she actually grabbed one of her drinking cups from the inside, Pepsi Cola bottle, right, and threw it right at us. Threw it right at us. A good thing I was going at a decent enough pace where she missed me, and she hit a little bit of my girlfriend's leg in the exhaust, where the exhaust was able to burn the drink off. You know, the fluid, the water, and the nasty high fructose corn syrup that's in their pop. You know, another type of sicknesses that make them lose their instincts, right? Bad food. What do you call that? Distorted high glucose, right? And malted down molasses that they drink mess up their chemistry. Women, a lot of people don't get that. But anyway, so I'm like, wow, this woman is out of her mind. So she rages herself down the street and skitting all over the place. And here I am in a motorcycle. You think I'll be skitting all over the place? No. Doing a speed limit, cool. You know, there's a time and a place for everything. That was not the time and the place. In busy traffic, that's not the time and the place. But it goes to show how emotional and out of whack women can be. But anyhow, let me get back to the story. Just thought I'd share that with you. Because I thought I'd share that with you. But I got something else for you here. As far as our degraded mindset and how we accept the lowest hanging fruit. And because of that, our instincts is not like the animals. But yet we are in a production of evil. Now, if you want another, I always have references for you. I always have references to it because I like to take my classroom here in Wildman a little deeper, and I am Morpheus giving you this red pill. I didn't give it to you yet because I gave it to you already. And check this out. Get this to get for you here. It's called Sponsored Evil. That's right. I just made another audio. It's called Sponsored Evil. Need to take a look at that because it has a lot to do with what I'm saying, that most times it is a long-term plan that we anticipate in when we fall out of ourselves and we don't listen to the teachers of our ancestors, and when we don't stand by the moralistic values that we used to have as a country. Okay, then we're going to fail. And yes, a lot of those things are planned, whether you want to believe it in your so-called language or not. I consider it to be whether you want to expect that or not. But that expectation can be prevented, and it can be halted, and it can be stopped if you stayed on your virtue. And a lot of the things in the Bible, as I teach as well here in the Academy of Wildman, is based on individuals, people, and wise men of that time who knew themselves, whereas we don't know who we are today. You know, they knew what was going to happen because they had more instincts in those days. They knew what was going to happen because they knew the woman. They knew what was going to happen because they have dealt with wars. They've dealt with pillage. They have dealt with the downfall of humanity so many times over. And they didn't live a plush lifestyle as we live today. So therefore, they stayed on their P's and Q's. So because we have become soft, because we become feminized, but because we're so comfortable in computers doing everything for us, because we just want to sit back, sip a beer, and put our rusted, crusted feet on the couch or the table, okay, and do nothing about our situation, okay, we allow the enemy to come in one encroachment at a time. And that encroachment isn't going to be abrupt. It is systematic. It is protocol, 1 inch at a time. Whereas when you look up, your rights are being infringed upon. Your freedoms are being infringed upon. Your own mindset, being able to speak up, be able to tell the truth, being able to be yourself is being at fault. To be able to be an alpha male or a red pill man, or just generally being a man full of testosterone, is considered as wrong, because it's against the system, and because it is so allowed to be pointed at, is because you got so many blue pill betas who are actually behind or you can say the submissive blue pill betas, who's behind the escalation and the increase of the downfall of the common humanity today, when it's based on balance. Balance is the most important thing in existence. When you break balance, you break yourself. It don't matter what you believe in. There must be a balance to what you do. There is a pro and a con. There is a give and a take. There is a cause and effect. And only animals got this good sense. Animals have these good sense. And it depends on what type of animal it is, of course. But compared to the animals that I just given you, apparently they have good sense, and we don't understand that, because what we do is, oh, it's all about me. It's nobody else. It's nobody else. You know, we have our island-like mentality, especially when it comes to some men. I feel sorry for men, but I really don't. Okay, because we always talk about how bad women are. We MGTOW, and a lot of us are red pill, but a lot of the other manosphere or gentlemen don't have a clue as to how sincere and how serious it is for men to come together. So we're always being the promoter of only what's going on in our house or what we're dealing with, but we don't think about the next man or think about the future of our daughters and our own sons who's going to grow up and deal with the nonsense of our soft-handed, moist lifestyle. We don't ever sit around at the table and say, you know what, let me think about this, like the hornet when he puts his nest further up, right? We don't think about that. We let it dangle low, okay, and get squashed again, or get sprayed with some hornet spray again, and now you got to rebuild yourself all over again after you done invest yourself in some type of hope situation, meaning you hoping for something to happen, but you don't seek for something. See, I told you this in my other audio. Hope is for weak people. Hope is for the insignificant. Hope is for those who have a hopeless lifestyle, and you got to look at what hope is. All right. When I was in my situation, it was based on struggle. It was based on making something happen. It was based on making probable adjusting and waiting for my opportunity, not hoping for something to happen. All right. Because when you hope for something, usually it's just hope itself. You don't need to hope for something if you're being active towards it. If you're being active towards your success or what you want to be, hope is irrelevant. You're not saying, well, I'm hoping that I succeed. Why would you say hope? You're saying, no, I'm working towards my degree. I'm working towards this certification. I'm working towards being a whatever next year. I'm working towards being 125 pounds from being 350 pounds. Okay, I'm working towards it. You don't say, well, I hope so. I hope so. I hope it's not going to rain tomorrow. Well, why don't you look at your dumb phone and see what the weatherman told you, And then you can say, well, I expect for it not to rain. I think it will not rain, or there is a chance that it may or it may not rain. Now, I hope this marriage is going to last. I hope she ain't going to cheat on me, even though I got all the signs, but I hope. Hope for weak people. Okay, this is why I always tackle religion, because most of it was made on hope. For the hopeless. Hopeless, you have no hope in yourself or your situation or your life. So you need somebody to guide you and give you some hopeful inspiration to make you feel good about your hopeless situation, because you're hopeless in yourself. Hopeless is a passive word. Hopeless as an alpha male is something that makes me sick. Whenever anybody try to equate what I do as hope, it's disgusting, and I'll shut them down immediately. The conversation will be over and the association will be done, because I can't equate myself to hope. It's either you do it or you don't do it. Get the hell out. Be done with it. Either it's going to work or it's not going to work. Hope for somebody else. Hope that I don't pick up this billboard and or the size 15. Okay. And do some squashing like like you squash a fly on the wall. Boom. Hope that I don't do that. Okay, you want some hope somewhere else. But I got a story for you. Okay. And I'm going to share this with you. And I want to give you some insight on something. And these are several people. And I'm going to make it as fast as possible, because I really don't want this audio to be too long, because it seems like it's getting there already. Okay. In the manosphere, there are two people that men have to watch out for. Us men. And there's two age ranges that I told you about before, and that is in the 20s and in the 50s and 60s. A lot of men in the 20s, I would say this, that they don't have enough experience. So they have an excuse to sometimes get in the situations that I'm getting ready to share with you. I think I wrote some of this down so I won't forget. Yeah. And they do the hope strategy because, well, you know, they're youthful. You know, not to say that I'm not youthful. What I mean is they have a little naive. They're kind of naive and inexperienced. And not only that, they need to discover life a little bit on their own. And sometimes they have to hurt their elbows a little bit and scuff their knees and suffer. OK, suffering is usually nature's way of waking most people up. You know, like any type of catastrophe that the earth does when it's trying to shake humans off of. And when humans are destroying the earth, are they doing something to their habitat or area, or you cut the tree wrong and the tree falls on your car or your house or something, you know, that's nature's way of saying that you were stupid or you did something wrong, you know, like putting your hands on the flame or, you know, messing around with propane around heat, you know, you know, dumb stuff people do just for attention, or something idiotic that you may see on YouTube where they'll put something that can explode in a microwave and they put the microwave in the garage. You know, black people don't do this, by the way. And they put something in the garage and they will stand like, you know, 10 feet away from the microwave by their car. Right. And the microwave blows open and the door flies near them, you know, and you know, there they are with the gash on their forehead. And you're like, what happened? You know, I don't understand. You know, just silly stuff like that. Or, you know, skateboarding. You know, gravity is a very unique thing. If God meant for you to defy gravity, he'd give you wings. I'm just saying he, because a lot of you understand it that way. In this academy, I will say it. OK, the universe and nature being God itself. If it have naturally designed human beings to fly, you would fly. But because we don't naturally fly, most times you often know that there is fatalities and been fatalities for years because we tried to find nature because we're so smart and superior. But we're willing to take that chance and we fell for it. And, you know, the 200, 300 something lives is expendable, sadly, but true, because we do it anyway and still want to do it. However, you got skateboarders who love skateboarding on rails, right? Love it. You know, these little young kids, right? You know, they trying to put some on YouTube with their so-called, what do you call that, snap cameras on their helmets. They think they're so cool, right? And knowing full well it's the logic of it is insensible. You know, when I'm about to do something, I make sure that my chances of success is at least way over 80%. It's going to be at least, if it's 85%, then I might take a chance on it. But if it's 50-50, you know, most likely I'm going to be the wise person to say, no, I pass. But these people will put down their video camera somehow on YouTube and say, look at me, I'm an idiot. So they get on a skateboard, right? And they go ahead and try to rail this like a college university staircase, right? And you got this long banister that's only for your arms. That's very narrow, right? And they'll slide down the banister on their skateboard sideways, thinking that they can fly like a hummingbird. And you'll see them fly forward, not only with their face, like on the bottom end of the staircase, right? Thinking they can flip over it, but they end up falling right on their love tackle. You know, right between their donkey dunk machine, and cause damage down there to the point where they may not be able to have kids, even if they had the opportunity to for a while, and probably cause some type of sexual dysfunction as they get older and surgery. But these are smart people, though, going against nature. So that's our twisted thinking. But let's go further, because I'm going to get off that rant. But anyway, you know, around the ages of 20, lifestyle is, you know, it's kind of like that. You know, we get into the high muscle car areas and we want to show off in front of all the girls, you know, go get expensive, you know, candy colored, you know, dripping paint on some 32s or something like that, when that money can go to the family and children and organizations. But no, you know, we just want to show off in front of all these women who aren't what they used to be either in the 1940s. These are different species that you need to understand. OK, but because we don't get it, they make failures, but they have to learn the hard way. But the older men, they have no excuse. there are 50, 63-year-old men who the big problem with them is, this is the treacherous part. They know better. And what they have done during their 30s and their 40s, during 30s and 40s, you make decisions. You make drastic decisions. You make decisions on the information that you've gotten, whether you want to use it for good, for evil, to build up your enterprise, to build up your business, to live your life better, to go MGTOW, so forth, so on. Or if you want to get married, you decide that during that time. There is a lot of men who get satisfied with a blue pill lifestyle. And what they do is, all they do is go with emotions. They go with the flow. You know, every day is just, you know, whatever is whatever. You know, they just go ahead and just do their 9 to 5, go home, 9 to 5, go home, 9 to 5, go home. And what happens is, these guys, when they don't, if they have not listened to Morpheus, because I tell you everything about empowerment that can prevent you from being in that humglum, low frequency, low energy lifestyle. Okay. If they don't tack onto that, funny thing is, these individuals get older and older and older to the 50s and 60s. Let me tell you what happens during this. This is what makes it treacherous and why they are worst blue pill men ever. This is why we have the problems that we are dealing with in the country. They get to the point where they are happy in their struggle. They become this. Let me give you an example. Y'all know that I kind of loved her myself when I was a kid. The movie I Love Lucy. I Love Lucy. And what was that? Nick at Night. There was another. It was Bewitched. Bewitched, the lady with the witch nose, where she'd twinkle her nose and make things happen. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you the difference between the two. Okay, as much as I thought Lucy was kind of cute, you know, with her big lips or her big eyes and her funny way, she was kind of funny, right? But if you notice, when it comes to the common realistic woman today, with her crying all the time and whimpering and making dumb decisions and doing stupid stuff, okay, it was a frustration for Ricky Ricardo. I think that's what his name was, Ricardo. And he was the logic one. You know, so a lot of men, they're at that stage when they're married, they're in a relationship with someone, and they're struggling with understanding what this species is. So they get comfortable with the idea, again, of happy wife, happy life, stupidity, happy wife, happy life. And they struggle with it. And they will deal with Lucy acting pretty much like a donkey. You know, she's acting a fool. She's acting goofy. And they'll put up with it. You know, they'll deal with it. Oh, that's just my wife. Lucy, what did you do again today? What do you do again today to Lucy? Lucy, what you do again today? I don't understand. What did she do? What did she do today? Lucy, no Lucy, look, Lucy. Always, every day something. Lucy, what did you do, Lucy? Lucy. No, we're going to leave, Lucy. We're not staying here today. Lucy, you've been here too long. Lucy. And they go for it. And then she is whining, I'm in there. Irritating all the time, doing something stupid, breaking something, right? Just tearing up stuff, messing with chocolate, doing all kind of idiotic stuff to make the crowd laugh. But everybody thought it was funny. It was made entertainment. Like, oh, look at this girl. She's a clown, but everybody loves Lucy. But the engineering of it, for a wise man would say, no, you're loving something that's practically an irritation. Because in real life, if women acted like that, and they do, okay, that's called being a pest. That's called being a liability for your function, your peace, your happiness, and your home. Especially if she keep breaking stuff. You know, she keep tearing up your car, right? She keeps spending up your money. You know, she keep leaving your door open, letting the pets leave. Right? Breaking windows, you know, all kind of unnecessary stuff, leaving clothes at the laundromat. And you come back, it's gone. Now, what happened? You got to buy clothes every week. You got that much money and time? Right? But you're like, oh, Lucy, you know, a lot of these men, this is a Lucy mentality. Then, of course, you got other men who are super blue pill, where they are raised by their mommies. And again, they're still around age 50, 60. And they've been in this relationship for a long time. Are they second time marriages, right? And so this girl is like a bewitch. If she's not a Lucy, she's a bewitch, where all she had to do is just twinkle her nose and something happened. Boom, magic. I thought she was a lot more cuter than Lucy because she had straight hair and cute eyes. But anyhow, But the psychological atmosphere or attitude of this, okay, is that she's saying that she has powers. She got ability to make things happen. You know, she can clean the house, do this, you know, clean out the stalls, you know, go around and make people's lives a little better based on her special skills, which can equate to the real world, equate to women who are able to get things done while they're in a marriage and the guy just sit back and be stupid. You know, the guy that was with this girl, you know, he wasn't like Ricardo. You know, he had more like a big nose and kind of stoic looking dude. And yeah, he was a little bit serious, but, you know, all the energy and focus was on her. All right. But that type of guy is the guy who allows this girl to be somewhat of an empowered individual, where she feels like, you know, just doing everyday tasks is magic, and it's not. You know, cleaning is magic. You know, she'll just poof and the kitchen's done. She'll poof and the books are on the shelf in organized order. Poof, you know, the bedroom is made up. You know, poof, you know, dishes is done. Right? As if it was something special in the day where women was able to do that, because men know how to do that themselves and they know how to do that better. You know, there are some men who can cook better than women, believe it or not, but they do. There's some women who can clean up a house better, be a lot more organized than women, especially when it comes to taking care of clothes or even taking care of the kids. So it wasn't nothing that was special. But, you know, here we are making yes, it was black and white. I wasn't that old, but that was like the far end before they got rid of all the black and white and those type of movie shows. But I stayed up at night to watch it because they were actually reruns. They were very old, but they were reruns when I was watching them. So I wasn't there when they was fresh making them. Just, you know, so y'all don't be thinking I'm that old. They were already played and replayed. But however, that's to make, again, the public view think, oh, okay, this girl is wonderful because she's doing something that's normal and natural. Like, really? Just like the bird. You know, the bird made a nest, you know, and it's doing it normal and natural. It's not like it's magic. The bird put work into it and instincts. You know, I guess instincts for some people is just magic, right? It's just too difficult to understand that you can think without actually using a book to do it, I imagine. Oh, how did you learn this? What high school did you go to? What college did you go to? You got a degree in this? Well, no. Then how do you know it? Oh, I got instincts. Oh, please. Oh, somebody taught you this. It's too hard for you to understand that. It's like, I don't understand. Is that called experience or not? Like, let's discover this. I need a book to teach me about this. Anyway, idiot. So we got those experiences, and it was on TV on a constant basis. But yet these 50, 60-year-old men, you'd be surprised that they actually live that lifestyle psychologically. But over time, they get tired. Over time, they realize they get tired of the whining Lucy and the so-called magical woman, which wasn't magic at all when he begins to understand how to make his own cheese toast and iron his own clothes and boil his own coffee. Then he realized it wasn't magic at all. Most times he finds that out later on in his life when sometimes when he's stuck with the 2 or 3 kids and she leaves to go to New York City. And he's there doing everything. He's like, oh, this ain't magic. This is just a little bit of work, a little bit of time. But, you know, she made it seem like it was something that was special, but it wasn't. OK, but they have another thing called a hope strategy that tears up the whole game. And this type of man, I need you to be. This is where you call your it gets to the zone of sugar daddy. These type of guys become your older, what some women call older perverts. OK, or these guys can be called they got all kinds of names for them. I can't even go deep into the book. But these older guys are the guys who simply don't care anymore. That's the worst type of blue pill man that you can ever encounter, because this guy know that he likes younger women, which is fine. You know, it's natural for older men to like younger women because they have more virtue and value, which is understandable. But what these men do is they do anything and everything to do whatever that the younger girl wants out of him. So 2 things happen. Some smart men, they get signed up for sugar dates. What that means is they arrange themselves to pay a certain amount of stipend or whatever, you know, per month, or provide some of whatever service to whatever girl that wants to be with them. And in return, she's just with them, you know, to keep him happy, to keep his manhood going, whatever that situation is or their arrangement. OK, but then there is many out of the neighborhood who are the ones who provide the necessary go-between. you know, the flippy flappies, you know, the under the table medications. They will provide the liquor, the beer. They'll provide a couple of dollars. They'll go down to a liquor store and get something for them. These blue pill guys are the guys who are supposed to be guiding light for younger men, or the younger generation. They're supposed to be adult-like, to where they're creating an image that the younger kids can look up to, that they can learn the difference between what should be done, what should not be done. I didn't say bad or good. You know, that determines on what your perception is. But what should and should not be done to provide a means of evolution, the same as the hornet and the bird, right? But they actually counteract. They counteract it the more than anything because they want to pretend as if they are a part of that young culture by not reprimanding them. In their mind, they gave up a long time ago because they're like 40, 60 years old. They're like, well, you know, I'm not getting any younger. I'm not going to get any other type of donkey dunking anywhere else. And I'm not going to be able to see any other pretty little girl or whatever this they might do. But what I'm going to do is just give her everything that she wants. You know, I can be the sugar daddy, even if she's hurting herself, you know, even if I know. And, you know, the bad thing about it is there has been several older men when I've discussed with them about red pill, blue pill content and trying to straighten out things and make things better. They are usually the ones that would tell me that they will say that they're not getting any younger and they really simply don't care. As long as she comes over to the house and spends some time with him and he'll send him along the way. He don't even care if she has a boyfriend. She don't care. He don't care if she's married. He just don't care. He's the type of guy that some of these girls will go to and you won't realize that until later on when she tells you when you married her for 14 years that she had a sugar daddy that was old enough to be her grandpa. OK, and that happens a lot of time. And these guys, they will do it because they have nothing else. They're not looking for anything else better out of life because they know their time is winding down. OK, their time is winding down. So they use all their resources to take full advantage of a younger lady. And his age range most times is like in the 30s. Oh, she's 32, 33, 34. He don't care. Why? Because he has nothing else. And what they'll tell me is that, well, he's not planning on marrying her. He's not going to have kids by her, definitely. So he's like, well, you know, whatever she has to offer, fine, I'll take it and I'll just get whatever that she wants. But what he is doing is he poisons the society. He poisons these women's mind. And he makes these girls think that there's always going to be a way out of them being accountable for their actions. So even if the 24, 25-year-old girls straighten out and they do right, you know, they're looking for Morpheus. I'm looking for you too. Anyway, I'm having fun with this. Now, they settle down and they find them a good man and latch on to him and be virtuous and be good. Then that's fine. But you know what? Those who are washed up, the girls who are the single mothers are in a bad marriage relationship. They have like 4 or 5 kids and they can't find no love or interest or they're struggling. Guess who they're going to call? They're going to call up him, Mr. Sugar Daddy. Mr. Old 61, 55, 56-year-old dude who's like, well, I don't care. I'm just whatever's going to happen is what's going to happen. You know, I'm just going to, well, I'll sell it to her if it's peanuts, donkey dunks, or a banana. You know, I'm just going to because I ain't got no time. And they're careless because they don't care. They really do not care. And it's tasteful. They're tasteless. Tasteful. It's tasteless and it's a shame because they are too old for it. And there's too many names to call them at this particular time. And it's disgusting. So much so where I was working on another client's car in their neighborhood. Right. And this older guy, way older than me, I mean, gray hair and everything, drive past and he's playing that song called The WAP. Right. I thought it was a 20-year-old or somebody driving something like that. I hate this song, to be honest with you. Every time I hear it, it makes my stomach hurt because I care about the future of children. I care about the future of women. And it only reminds me of the future of the society. I was going to say America, but it's around the world. That's what made me slow down and repeat myself like that because I wanted to say America, but it's bigger than America. It's happening everywhere. It's happening everywhere. Europe and Eastern. On the east side of the planet, west side, north and south, it's happening everywhere because we are a sick culture. We are a sick species now because we have allowed the cog wheel to keep on spinning and nobody stood up for it, for our children or for tomorrow. You know, and that's what pissed me off more than anything. So he's sitting there listening to the song, The WAP, but I didn't know it was him. I can hear the music behind me blaring real loud while I had the hood open. And when I turned to grab my wrench, I turned to see who it was. I thought it was a young person. Here it is, this old dude. Old dude. I mean, 60s. I'm like, I couldn't believe what I was looking at. I was asking myself, am I seeing this for real? Old dude. Right. And he's sitting up here bobbing his head, trying to be cool. Now, there's nothing wrong with feeling like you're young again. You know, there's lots of guys who do that. I mean, you want to act like you're young. That's your business. You know, you still got life to live and, you know, you enjoy yourself, but you got to have some type of. See, you are an inspiration or you are a downfall for a lot of younger people. You are supposed to be, what do you call that? An image and an idol for a younger generation. If I was a 24-year-old man and I'm looking for inspiration from older men who's old enough to be my dad, like that dude driving past like that, and I'm looking at him, that would destroy my future. I'm like, this is America. This is men today. This is what we're looking for. And he's just listening to this WAP music like it's nothing, like it's every day. But this is part of the encroachment of the downfall of society and social engineering. This is the downfall of virtue. This is why women walk around and dress the way. This is why we don't have no virtue or honor to each other, because it's all filthy. It's all nasty. It's all twisted and definitely retarded. And it's a de-evolution, and we are satisfied with it because we have no instincts compared to the animals. We are lower than them. The Egypt Sphinx told us a lot. It said, never put your animal head above your human head. We are upside down where the animal head is above us and our human head is in the soil. You know what happens when your human head is below your animal head? That means you are in the grave. You're gone. You're 6 feet under and you're a walking zombie. A walking zombie, but not compared to the animals who got instincts. It's more like the internal animalistic mammal that the average human is. Meaning just a, lizard instinct, eat, drink, go to sleep, donkey dunk, go to work. That's it. No direction, no juice, no future power to try to change anything that's happening for our children. These innocent children walking around 3 years old, 4, 5, 8, 12, and 18, and some above that. Just because you older don't mean that you're not a child, right? Looking for direction. And we got older, retard, lazy, broken men walking around not caring, because all he's concerned about is himself. Well, I only got a few more good years. And this is what makes it worse. And I was getting ready to walk over there, but I didn't say anything. But I'm going to share it with you. This person may not even know who he is, so I'm going to go ahead and share it anyway. I can just give it to you, right? I am familiar with that neighborhood because I got clients everywhere, right? And actually, that was a person who tried to speak to me a couple of times. It was a female's house. I know the girl to be pushing 30, right? She even tried to approach me while I was out there several times working on the car. She wanted to get to know me. I gave her vague information, let her know I wasn't interested. And I understand how women are desperate now because all they're looking for is something that's going to benefit them, not what's going to benefit family. OK, in the end, it's all about them. It's not about the children. It's not about the future. It's all about what they can get at the moment. So when they see a prize cow like myself, OK, or a high value man, they want to jump on the next bridge. This bridge is not. No. This boat that I'm on is not for you. Absolutely not. You are restricted. As soon as you try to put your foot on the boat, you'll be electrocuted and you fall right down the water so the sharks can eat you. And I'm not going to save you. I'll just keep on paddling away. This boat is for virtue. This boat is for the worthful. This boat isn't for these common, modern, shape-shifting females that we deal with today. You might as well suck on that banana peel somewhere else. Okay, but here he is. I thought it was over, right? And I'm still curious. I've seen him get out of the car. Like, okay, who is this dude? Like, what is his deal, right? Old looking dude, right? He get out of the car and he start wobbling over there to the door. I thought he was going somewhere else. He went exactly over there to the house, to the door of the girl who tried to talk to me. And, he had, brown bag, brown bags, always going to be some liquor or something like that. And it ain't going to be no cold lunch. Okay. It's not going to be, you can't, oftentimes when you go to the store, you're going to have something that's in a plastic bag. It's not going to be, you can get in a paper bag if you go to a health food store. Okay. This girl was not on no health food. Okay. No, absolutely not. That's a joke. You'll get a brown bag from the liquor store. Okay. And everybody knows what liquor looks like in the shape of it from the outside of the bag, especially when you're always holding the lip part of it, the long neck. Okay. When you're holding it just like you would do a wine bottle. Okay. Get the hell out of here. So I'm just watching for a minute, trying not to be nosy. Right. And I saw it. He's standing up there right in front of, and she walks out, she got her little nightgown on and everything. And, he's exchanging pleasantries. We're here to standing there, blue pill beta. Okay, I'll do it. Okay. This girl like pushing 30 years old. Here, this old dude, 50 something, 60 years old, serving her, gave her the bag. I'm like, wow, are you serious? I couldn't believe my eyes. And we are wondering why. We say, okay, how these women are able to continue to be unaccountable. Why they keep acting the way they're acting. Because they know, listen, here's the thing. They know if Morpheus won't do it, if you won't do it, there's always going to be a blue pill retard, weak, old, or small, immature dude who's going to. And you know what they're going to do? They be standing. They're not looking about tomorrow. See, this is what I mean. We got short vision. Long gone the days where, remember there was movies we used to watch where there were kings and princes where even in the old age, they were honorable. You can look up to them. Like, what was that? King Arthur, right? Everybody's familiar with that. The movie King Arthur. And, what was his name? I forgot his name. I know he was dealing with Lancelot. But the king, the way that he carried himself, he carried himself regally. Whatever he did in his chambers was his business. But the way he dealt with people was honorable. He spoke with them with confidence. He tried to be balanced and fair. And he had such a demeanor to himself where you can respect him. You can look up to him and he would tell you something that made sense. Could you imagine him teaching younger kids or boys, how to be a man? Could you, was his name John Connery? I think it was John Connery. But he had the gray beard and he was wise. He said things that made a whole lot of sense. He didn't jump emotionally. Even if he was slighted a few times. He didn't always get his way. He was a lonely king. He needed things. But you know what he did? He acted like he had some good sense. He had something that men can look forward to, especially in the round table. Everybody looked forward to that type of king energy. And a lot of men, just because you ain't a king like King Arthur, just because you don't own a castle and you don't have royalty in your blood, that doesn't mean that you can't be something that men can look up to. That doesn't mean that women aren't looking at you from all ages. Even till old age, until we are no longer on earth, we should inspire everyone. We should be an icon for other men. We should have long vision. And what kings do on a general basis, they don't just choose any old Joe, Billy, no weakling, blue pill, retard, soft hand, moist uncle to be their predecessor or to come after them, to precede them, to take over their throne. They don't just choose a person just because they're family, even if they're family and they're going off picking berries and collecting butterflies and, they want to be this weak archer instead of a swordsman. They're not going to select them even if they're of blood, and they're going to be very cautious as to bringing somebody with weak blood into their circle. So what the whole intention is, they want to make sure that their legacy passes on, And not even with children. It wasn't about having children. It was about their protocols, their standards, and what they expect out of the society that they had reigned over. Okay, being a patriarchal, being a man, being alpha, being red pill. Okay, a lot of men today are nothing but subjects. They are nowhere near that. You can't even depend on them for that anymore. You can't depend on them to be like King Arthur, where he's gonna save face from death to impart, all the way to his deathbed, and be loyal to his people. A lot of men after a certain age, they give up. They get soft and weak. They become passive like this old dude. Listen to the WAP going down the street. If I knew him personally, to be honest with you, I'll tell him like it is. And I'm just that type of person, being alpha. I really don't hold back. Sometimes it's hard for me. I'll speak to a person and I'll ease up to him. I'm the type of person where I'll ease it up to you first. I'll ease it up to you. I'm just not going to come out and just blah, 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 blah. No, I'm going to ease it up. We're going to have a good conversation, give you some coffee, some drink. Yeah, okay. Soften you up. And then when we start talking seriously, getting even more serious, then I'll take the sword out of the sheath and then let you have it. Blast is blast and you be done for. Because the reality of it is, because I'm just a realist like that. And eventually when the person get done, they'd be like, oh man, that was hardcore truth, but I can handle it, right? Because I know how to deal with people. I do it all the time. Anyhow, because it was ridiculous and there's nobody there to straighten it out. It's like, we're okay with it. We're good with it. So the poison that we're having in this environment comes from specific people like him. Like I said, the younger generation, they have an excuse. Guys, before they like 24, 25, 26, 28, there's an excuse there. If you've never been married, there's an excuse. You've been struggling, in your whole life. You come along somebody who's a Lucy or a Karen or what do you call that? The wicked, I keep forgetting her name. Bewitch, right? You think you struck gold mine. Until you spend your time with them a little longer, then you begin to realize, okay, well, this isn't reality. Something's wrong. I'm being played against. Even more so when the courts are against you, or so I say with the government, when they start taking money from you and, you got your alimony and child support. List goes on. Okay, don't want to get into that. And then you start making decisions between 30 and 40. Right. But the split way is realistic that we need to realize. So uncles, older men, at a certain age, they're really not reliable like they used to be. They're already poisoned. They're already poisoned the water, and they're continuously supporting the poisonous of the water. So this goes back to what I was talking about. We are conditioning ourselves to fail. We don't have long vision like animals, birds, and the earth do. We'll keep going until catastrophe happens. And this is what makes it bad, is because those older people do it because they know they're not going to have to be here to suffer it. Older people are like this. They will be like a dog. What a dog would do is, and if the dog's not trained, a dog will squattle anywhere. It will squallow anywhere and keep it moving because it's not its responsibility, and it's not going to clean it up. Okay. Older people tend to do the same thing because they know they're not going to be here forever. Like, I don't care. I can support the WAP. I'm this older gentleman. I'm going to get it wherever I'm going to get it. I don't care. My time is getting ready to leave anywhere. I'm not going to be here for the apocalypse, even though he's already in it and he's part of it. OK, so they will create all type of catastrophes, all kind of negative legacies, and not concern themselves about others, children in the future, as long as they get theirs before they pass away. So they are usually the number one blue pill betas who will vote in the wrong type of person to do a job that they know is going to be distorted. They will make the trade off with some Lucy's, Karens, and bewitches because it's not going to hurt them in the end. They only got a good 5 years, a good 4 years, good 10 years or whatever. Right. So they're like, I don't care. I'm going to get it wherever I can get it. And it's over with. And every other man underneath them have to suffer. Every younger man, 28, 22 and up, they have to suffer, or even 32, because when it comes time for 32 to decide what he want to do and find something with virtues, he can't find it. Because why? He's coming up behind those old, trifling 60 something, 50 something year old dudes who left a terrible legacy behind. who was the providers of the negative energy, who was the providers of bad accountability and emotions, who was a provider of the loudmouth Lucy, the screaming Karen, and the so-called bewitching witch. The providers of it. And they'll play the latest music, the latest rap. They'll bob across the street. They'll smoke and do whatever they want to, just like the younger generation, and spoil them even worse. And then guess what they'll do? Well, I need this. I'm going to go to old Joe over here across the street. I'm going to go to my sugar daddy. If I can get it nowhere else, I know where I can get it from. Okay, I can't get it from you, Morpheus. That's cool. I can get it from you, Bobby. I'm okay with that. I can get it from you, Charles. Oh, you want to deny me too? Oh, okay. All y'all want to be MGTOW, that's fine. I can deal with that. You know what? I'm going to go to old Joe over here, and I'm going to get it from him. He'll always be there. Yeah, he may be a little wrinkly. Yeah, he may be a little outdated. But you know what? He supports my cause. Because if I don't want to be accountable, I can go to him, and I don't have to be accountable of creating a bad future. Instead of creating a home, instead of creating a family, I want to create bad seeds so we can continue this rat race of a society that we live in. That's the thorough of the message. And that is what we have to be aware of. And that is what's constantly going on. So I gave you several references in this audio to tether to other audios so you can listen to those, because it all makes sense. And eventually, one of these days, when you listen to all of my lessons here in the Academy of Wildman from the first to beginning, you will start putting the pieces together and you will find Waldo. And then I'm pretty sure you're going to be a better person for it, and your eyes will thoroughly become open. And I'm pretty sure by that time you will be disconnected from the Matrix, and you will be the Neo that I expect for you to be. And then we can continue to be stronger together as a team. Do you hear me, my Neos of America? This is Leon C., aka Morpheus. You have been delivered another wonderful red pill. Like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. I told you about my book. Let's ride this thing out.